All right, it is 7 o'clock and we'll call this a meeting to order. Our first agenda item is a public hearing on the proposed superintendent contract. Do we have anybody who would like to speak on that? All right, seeing no one to speak at the time, we'll close the public hearing on the proposed superintendent contract. Our next agenda item is public comments regarding the agenda item. Do we have any public comments? Okay, thank you. Our next agenda item is a consideration of the Bloomfield Schools reentry plan. Mr. Dean.
Yes. This, of course, throughout this pandemic, schools around the state have been working their way through and navigating through the close of school, the end of school, and now with the start of school for the 2021 school year. The Bloomfield Reentry Committee, which is comprised of administration, K through 12 teachers, our school nurse, maintenance and custodial, supervisor director, our after-school program director. We're all involved in going through data. We sent out parent surveys, staff surveys to gather concerns and input from the community and from our staff. And we also took in consultation there with the other county schools into the plan, and we looked at different plans that were made available from around not only state but from other states. We put together, through a lot of hard work, a very good plan, we feel. It was submitted to the Greene County Health Department and approved on July 6th. So we're bringing this agenda item to the Board of Trustees tonight to be approved. And when that is done, we will then share that information out with staff and parents and families via our website, our Facebook pages, and through school messenger.
Okay. Yes.
I was just thinking
okay.
out loud. I mean, can we share at all kind of an idea of what the parents are looking at receiving? I mean, I know we have people that are kind of biting at the bit wanting to know. I know they're going to get the information, but there's people probably watching the board meeting tonight. I mean, can we share that? Just a little bit of it. We don't have to go through the whole plan. It's 13 pages, but just at least kind of what we're looking at today, looking for starting in August, provided things don't change now.
Right. Well, I think when parents see, so we actually are going to have two platforms going out. Number one, like you said, the 13-page plan is going to be made available via the website and our Facebook pages, so parents can then go through that information. That's really in a green, yellow, red format, and that basically is going through a low or no spread to a minimal or moderate spread to a substantial spread. And if we're in that red category, we're not here to school, we're closed. And that's probably coming from the state, quite possibly, or that. But this is a fluid document. It's going to be fluid throughout the year. We're going to be in constant contact, certainly with the DOE on guidance from them and the state regulations, the state health department. Our local health department will be communicating. So when parents look at this, they need to, as they read through it, look at it as in a green. We're here. We're moving forward. Yellow, numbers in our area might be rising. Then there'll be things that will be stipulated in the contract or in the plan as to how we handle the protocol for that. But really, we're following the CDC guidelines and the state guidelines from the state health department and our Greene County health guidelines. The Greene County Health Department was very complimentary of our plan, and we want to follow that. But I think the point to make is that this is an ever-changing situation, and it could, everybody hopes, and we're planning to move forward, without exception here. But we'll handle adversity as it comes along. That we have on that. Then we have our second platform that we're going to share out with parents is a kind of a abbreviated version that shows, it's a slide presentation in a PDF to go out to parents to make it a little more user-friendly. So they'll have access to the plan to read through all 13 pages if they want to do that, and then they'll have the information slides to go through and see basically what we're looking at. Our proposed start date is August 11th. We're planning to move forward with that.
So the question that I would ask, and I had asked whenever, because we see the plan, and it's important to mention in the board meeting that it is fluid. So we don't know what school's going to look like in August, because we don't know what next week's going to look like. So just, it's important to know that the plan is, you're able to adjust within, there are options to adjust. But, I guess the question that I had was, if things were the way they are today in August, what would we be looking like going to school? Are we looking at masks? Are we not? I just know that those are questions that are being asked.
The CDC guidelines highly recommend the use of masks and the social distancing. We're going to do that the best possible. Nowhere has it been mandated, for the use of masks. In our plan, we highly recommend the use of masks, especially when social distancing can't be utilized. When social distancing can be utilized, I think then we're certainly in better shape. As far as the school, Mike's elementary classes, it's a different beast than the high school and the age-wise that we're dealing with. Lunches, we're looking at how we can reduce the number of students. Maybe on our side, on the junior senior high side, maybe splitting lunches, so we have fewer number of kids eating at one time together. But that's all spelled out there in the plan. But like I said, the guidelines are highly recommended, the use of masks. When they use the surgical mask, I believe that it's 95%. The cloth mask, about 85%. So.
Can I add to that for a second?
Sure thing.
So when we go into the green, if things stay as they are now, we go in, we're going to start school normal. There are precautions in place. We've got
I think that's what people are wanting to hear.
Yeah, they're we're going to be cleaning throughout the day. Even like say an elementary classroom, when they take their class and they're going to another area for specials, where say they're going to music, teacher's going to come back, wipe down, sort of, we have a spray that Matt is going to get for us as well. That's supposed to help out with that as well. So we are putting precautions in place. Like he mentioned, lunches. Elementary, we're looking at ways to try to reduce the number of kids in the lunchroom at a time. Granted, you still have certain hours of the day that you can offer lunches, so we're having to figure out where to put those kids. Whether they go back to their room, whether we take them outside, nice out to eat, that kind of thing. So we still have some meetings coming up with teachers to help just kind of smooth some of that out a little bit. The yellow, if we were to see an uptick, yellow's kind of broken into two parts. One part is maybe we see an uptick in cases around our area, but not in our area. Things are going to get a little tighter. Then the other one would be, okay, we're seeing an uptick in our specific district. Then that changes things a little bit. We're looking at alternating weeks, which half the population for 1 week, the other week. I think we call those red and white weeks is what we call them. So we've got multiple plans in place. And then the one thing we haven't mentioned is, at the high school we're offering online classes, we're offering remote learning at the elementary level. A little harder to do online classes with second graders, for instance, so we're going to do remote learning.
And that's in the yellow.
That's from the beginning. Yellow is when it could be mandated for several students, but we're going to even offer that in the green for parents. Maybe they have kids who have low immune systems, or maybe they're just a little afraid to send their students back.
I thought you meant mandating, that's why I said yellow.
Yeah, no. Yellow will begin to mandate that a little bit, but my hope, personal hope, is that, my hope is that we go all year long with no issues. That's my hope, but I really hope that we're able to get through much of the school year before anything happens, so that we can get some of the stuff in play. Teachers are going to start teaching their students. We're one-to-one, K through 12 now. So teachers are going to start teaching them where to find different documents. We're looking at teachers even further remote learning instead of it just being e-learning like we did before. We're going to ask our staff to like video themselves teaching lessons and then uploading those into whatever, we're going to use Google Classroom, but upload those so that the students that are learning at home get the actual information from the teacher. Now, we don't know what that looks like yet, so that's new to everyone. It's going to take some time for them to get used to it. We have a great staff. They're going to figure it out. They're going to blow it out of the water, no doubt about it, but it'll be a little slow going at first. So it's something that we still have to lay out to much of our staff. A lot of our staff have been in these committees, but some of them haven't been. So we've got to lay it out to them as well.
Right, we have committees that are meeting next week to establish the curriculum and how what a remote and kind of for you to understand the online learning we already have established with the Bloomfield Academy. And that is through Plato, and that is going to be, if a student wants to do the online, the academy online through Plato, that's going to be at this beginning of semester. So there's no fluid movement in and out of that. That's their influence.
Once you choose.
That's right. The remote learning, there will be where they can go back and forth and how they want to do that. If we're ever, have to close for a period of time, the remote learning would go into place. As Mike said, we had the e-learning that everybody was navigating during the pandemic when we closed school on March 13th. This is going to be more where teachers are live streaming from their classroom and their lessons, where they're flipping the classroom and videoing themselves and then posting that through Google Classroom for parents and students to be able to access. So those three pieces there, the traditional, the remote, and the online, we're working through with our committees. Mike's got his elementary committee. We have our junior senior high school committee. And we'll have that information going out, and that'll be in the letter.
Yeah, and I will say too, we've spoken to other schools in our area and outside our area. We're all about the same place. I haven't found a school yet that said, I got it all figured out.
Right.
They haven't. I mean, they're telling me, they're being honest. They're like, we're working for it. And we are too. I mean, but everyone has been very willing to share where they're at. Local schools, like I said, even branching out a little bit to some of our surrounding areas, maybe not in Greene County. When we contact them, they've been honest with us, and they've shared things with us. So, and we're sharing with them as well. So, I mean, I think that says a lot. That everybody's trying to figure it out at the same time.
Well, when we just gotta be patient. It's new to everybody.
Right.
Absolutely.
We don't have a book on this,
That's right.
so,
We're right in it.
Well,
exactly.
and something else, that I've read some information from the Indiana Department of Education, so you guys jump in here and correct me if I trip up on this, but their guidance is, it starts out with two factors, and one is schools have to react to what's happening in their community, and every community is different. And then we have to communicate that to the people in our community. But you talk about talking to everybody else, well, that's great to do, and it's good information to have, but the spread, the transmission rate will be different in every little town. So we have to understand, and that's why this is going to be fluid, the way David.
One of the meetings that we watched with Dr. McCormick, she even made the comment that she had people say that they wanted the state to mandate it the same for everyone.
You can't.
And she said, no, that doesn't make sense. You go up into Marion County, they've had way more cases. And so their schools are reacting a little differently. But here, it's toned down a lot more than that. It's not to say we're immune, we're not, but it's one of those things where we're going to react how we need to. We're going to keep an eye on it. With the health department, state, Dave and I are going to be constant communication with each other and other principals in our area and surrounding area. So it's fluid, as you said, and we'll be as transparent as we possibly can be throughout.
One specific, and the plan is broken up into different pieces. Number one, practicing prevention. We're going to rely on parents to do self-screening at home, and we'll share information with them that is made available to us. Infographics to here are the symptoms to look for. If your child has a temperature of 100.4, don't send them to school. Make sure that you have. So we're going to rely on parents to be that first level, that first line of defense there. And then you know, some things that we've, well, Troy and guys today have replaced some of our water fountains with the water filling stations. The use of the water fountains will be shut off, and they'll just have the water filling stations. Start out, we had one in the cafeteria, now we've got 8 of them in the building around. And
So
then
we are
also,
asking the students bring water bottles.
right,
And take them home and wash them.
exactly.
Things like that, so that
And-
helps a little bit.
Right.
Throw them in our lockers.
Yeah, exactly. So, and you know, signage, we're gonna have signage around the building, reminding students, like on our side, you know, what the flow of traffic, and, you know, passing periods, and what will that look like? And, you know, remember to keep 6 feet apart, like I mentioned before previously, splitting lunches, to reduce the number of kids eating at the same time.
Will there be more of a presence in the hallways by the, you know, the teachers or faculty to make sure the kids are
So,
doing this in the hall?
well, you know, that'll be an all hands on deck type
Yeah.
thing, definitely. But the teachers are gonna be wiping down their desk in between classes as well.
True.
So, you know, it's going to be, really, we're gonna be learning, and the kids are gonna be learning as they go along about, you know, what flow of traffic we have. And that's where the signage comes in to kind
Yeah.
of get those guys to go.
They don't have to level.
Keeping the
How it is
elementary
anyway.
kids, keeping the elementary kids to have their hands to themselves will be,
They wanna hug everybody.
yeah.
And the locker,
That'll be
being an
tough.
issue, I can see them going to the locker, the lockers being as close as they are, that's gonna be an issue to keep them
So bubble wrap.
social distance,
Yeah.
6 feet apart, so.
Yeah. And-
That'll be something they'll have to be mindful of as well.
Exactly. And that's why we want to encourage the use of masks, you know, especially in passing periods, and when they're going around, like I said, with social distancing, you know, it is a problem.
I noticed
Buses,
the boxes, I noticed the box of masks out front, so there'll be some here.
yes, we've gone through the state, and the state's going to be providing masks for us, which they did for all school districts, and then we'll have others. I know Renee has several that have been donated and made.
Now with that said, we don't have enough masks to give a student a mask every day.
That's right.
They need to bring them from home.
Yeah.
They do, but in certain situations, we have some that we can offer up.
Practice wearing them now,
Right.
Practice
so
on
that they're not starting this
Well,
school.
the one time that we will be requiring masks is on buses, just because of the close proximity and that time, and that's in the plan. That's in the green plan, that's in the yellow, certainly with that. And there's other information, but going down, you know, entering school buildings, we're talking about in the green level, what's acceptable, what's not, what we're going to be requiring people to come in with masks. You know, mentioned the meals, the transitioning, large group conducting, and then the teaching and learning, which would be that remote, online, and traditional.
So our
So-
bus driver's gonna have a mask on hand, you got a kid at stop, you're going to pick him up. Are we gonna have a mask there to pass out to him, or what's the protocol on that?
Well, that's something that we've got to discuss with the bus drivers, figure out how we want to do. You know, one of the things that came up was face masks, like for the bus drivers, especially
Yes.
those who wear glasses, the mask, you know, will fog up.
Yeah.
So getting those.
Also, don't fail to mention that we'll be cleaning those buses. After every round.
So are we gonna have a spray available
Yes.
for us to keep on the buses?
Yeah, Mr.
Okay.
Bales is going to have that made
He's
available.
working on it now.
Okay. And when the kids refuse to wear the mask on the bus, how do we handle that? Because the bus drivers are driving the bus.
Right.
They don't have time to say, Johnny,
That's
get
right.
your mask on.
I think at this point, our stance is, they need to have a mask to ride the bus.
Okay.
If they're not, then they aren't gonna be allowed to ride the bus. And that's right now, that's our stance. We still have a lot of talk, you know, that we need to do about that. We have a lot of investigation to do about that. That's kind of where we're at right now. I mean, you're
And
gonna
that's why,
mandate it.
It's just almost impossible to social distance riding a bus.
it is.
Absolutely.
And, you know, in the survey that went out to parents, that was one of the questions, and, you know, how would you be utilizing a bus? Would you be bringing them to school? Would they walk? And it was, you know, it's about a little more than 50% bringing their children to school.
Yeah.
So, you know, we'll see what we have, but definitely from the,
You know, this time of day, you know, that we'll have windows down on the bus.
right.
So that's a big difference in the middle of winter when everybody's windows are up.
Right.
So,
Can I also add that on Harmony, when you register your student, there is a section now that will list, like, for you to document, I want my student transport on the bus. And then there will be a spot for parents to indicate these are the locations that their drop-off spot would primarily be or what the backup would be. So it will look different when registering compared to in years past. That communication is helpful not only for the Secretariat office, but also for me to help coordinate with them who the student's driver will be and good communication with our drivers as well.
And then, like I said, that'll be available, this plan will be available via the website. We'll get that on there, and then also through the Facebook page. And then what we'll send out tonight is the slide presentation.
That's what I was gonna ask, how soon can parents?
They'll see it
expect
tonight.
to get it?
Well, an hour. So, a lot of work, a lot of dialogue, a lot of discussion has gone into this. I think Mike said, well, there's been a lot of collaboration from the county schools, from our staff, and wanting to do the right thing and the best that we can. So I just want to commend the committee for their work. There's a lot of hours throughout the summer that they donated to get in here and get this done.
You guys
Pass
haven't
along
had much
our
of the summer.
appreciation. So pass along our appreciation.
You will do.
And this is too important a job to rush, so
Right.
I think you guys took the right approach.
Thank you. Yeah. And, I'll reemphasize again, it is a fluid situation, so, and that's stated in the plan. And, we'll adjust and be in constant communication with the health department.
All right.
Any other comments or? Okay, so we have,
I have a question. I didn't know if it was like our turn to ask, but I was waiting till everyone was there. But, I appreciate all the work that the schools put into the plan, developing it. It was complex, it's ever changing. I know things are gonna change as we get closer and watch the numbers as we get, to that August 11th date. But what I am curious about is what is the plan that you have in place for if you have a positive case? How is that going to be handled?
Well, when as kind of to the test that it's fluid and never changing, when the original information came out, schools would be shut down 2 to 5 days with a positive case.
So the CDC guidelines are 14 days. Do you need
Right,
just
but
to
we're
shut down
going,
for sanity?
right, but we're going,
Okay.
yeah, that's.
But everyone that's been in contact with that child should be quarantined for 2 weeks.
So I will tell you that in our communication with the health department, we're not going to know if there's a positive case unless it is one of our students that has a positive case.
Right.
If a family member is positive, they're not going to, that information will not be shared unless a student tests positive for them. But Ms. Renee McIntosh shared information with Mr. Riggleman and I just tonight on information that she got in a webinar today. And, the 2 to 5 days is the benchmark, but there will be communication with the health department and the administration depending on a case-by-case scenario and how it goes. But that was a question that was brought up, about the contact tracing and everything with the county superintendents and what that would look like. And so I think everybody was a little surprised by that. And, in a small community, I'm sure that word will travel. But as far as the health department is concerned, when there's a positive case with a student, that's what we're doing.
Okay. And then, if things are as they are today, and I know that you're still looking at things, but if the things don't change from today, what does the plan look like for community spaces, like cafeterias? Are the kids going to be going to the music room, or is the music teacher going to be coming to the classroom? Because I know, I read the guidance that Governor Holcomb provided, and they highly encouraged that, use those spaces. So, but it was left up to each school district. I just want to know if you could provide a little more information on what you're doing.
Well, in the green, the kids will be going to, but like all the other classrooms, they'll wipe down the back.
Will
The
they
kids
be
will also
socially
be
distanced, like 6 feet apart?
as best we can, yes.
And those are large areas.
Those are bigger rooms in their classrooms.
Yeah, and then obviously, we're gonna have them, they're gonna come through, they're gonna wash their hands, they're gonna sanitize, and do all that kind of stuff before we turn into their classroom. And their classroom has been sanitized while they were gone. So, that's kind of, in green, that's where we're going. Now, in yellow, then no, they will come to the classroom instead of the kids that need to go there.
And that's outlined in the document.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the plan for green is that everybody comes to school, it's not a hybrid or, right?
It can be somewhat of a hybrid, if
So
parents.
we don't,
Parents can opt
I mean,
to,
I don't know what they do already with these theirs. They have a hybrid plan where half of the students go on Monday, Tuesday, everybody does virtual learning on Wednesday, and the rest go on Thursday, Friday. So their numbers are similar to ours as far as body. I just wonder why.
well, I know that a big concern for families, and was brought up in our survey and data that was available was childcare and having that. So when it gets to the yellow, we have that option of doing 50-50. And instead of us doing alternate days, like a Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday, we would be doing it by weeks. And so you'd have a red week, and if you're on the red schedule, you're at school. And if you're on the white schedule, you're at home doing the remote learning. Now, parents are going to have that option they're going to have the option to opt into online learning at the beginning of the year. If they opt into the online learning, they'll be in that for the semester. And then they'll be able to, if they want to transition out of that, that would be at the end of the first semester, going into the second. Remote learning, they have the option of being, taking that, and the remote learning is fluid, meaning you can go in and out depending on the situation and really how the parents feel. So that's what we're still working through with our staff as far as the curriculum.
Thank you for clarifying.
I will say at the elementary level with the remote learning, we weren't really wanting them to be gone on Monday, back on Tuesday. If they're going to go into that, we want them to go into that and stay into that for a while to get a continuity of what's going on.
That's why they're different segments.
Yeah,
I mean,
so the committee that I sat in with the elementary teachers was, they were, if you, in green,
Yeah.
if you, as a parent, say, you know, my kid's got a low immune system, or we're just a little nervous about it, we'd like to do the remote learning. We'd like for you to stay in that for that 9 weeks. That's not set in stone, that was a conversation that we had. Just so that there can be that continuity. Teachers have a flow of who's going to and who's not going to be in their class, and that kind of thing.
Well,
It's a sort of common ground there.
and that information, as we finalize what that is going to look like, that will be shared with parents as well.
Okay, so we have a recommendation to approve the return to the entry plan for the school district. Do I have a motion?
I'll motion.
I have a motion from Terry Neighbors. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second from Terry Wade. All in favor? 7-0. All right, our next business, is there any board member comments and items for future agendas? All right, seeing none, our future meetings, we'll have a special meeting next Tuesday, July 21st, here in the boardroom at 7 p.m. And then our regular scheduled meeting, Thursday, July the 30th at 7 p.m. Here in the boardroom. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.